We all formulate our thoughts, our opinions, and ultimately our actions based on what we know. And when our knowledge base is altered, we're left to superstition, conjecture, and ultimately fear. And fear is a strong basis for mind control. Whether it's a kind of mind control that is the mass mind control over a whole society, or if it's the kind of absolute robotic mind control that I experienced under MK Ultra on a White House Pentagon level.
To a very large extent, problem, reaction, solution is manipulation of emotion. And the key emotion that entices people to give their power away more than any other is fear. People who are in fear of something give their power away to anyone they think will protect them from what they've been manipulated to fear. The more we can be persuaded to be frightened, the more likely we are to acquiesce to apparent solutions to that which we are frightened of.
The main emphasis of the KGB is not in the area of intelligence at all. According to my opinion and opinion of many defectors of my caliber, only about 15% of time, money and manpower is spent on espionage as such. The other 85% is a slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community and their country.
And the idea is to hoard knowledge, some of it very, very advanced knowledge, well beyond anything we see in the public arena, in the hands of the few, and to keep the mass of the people in ignorance of that knowledge. And if I know really significant things, like the nature of reality and how we create it, and I keep it from everyone else, I am suddenly in a position of massive power. Because governments are not there to serve people. They are there to control people and direct people down a certain agenda road. And once you appreciate that that's what the relationship is between government and people, control, what is happening today begins to make more and more sense when you connect the dots.
And never forgetting also that there is this other unseen hand that knows absolutely what consciousness is, who are experts in that fact. You're walking around couldn't care less. You're waiting for the next movie to come out, and the next fashion and all that, what Hollywood's going to do next. But there's people there who have a thorough understanding of human consciousness, human psyche, human libido, and they're working on it 24/7 to feather their own nests and also to keep man in servitude, man whom they think is their creation. You know, they think of man as just being one of their own, you know, like somebody treats a pet. If you actually watch how people mostly treat their pets, you know, when you really watch it, you'll find that the pet is a slave. Well, we have people ruling this society who think of human beings as pets and slaves. Yeah, they provide you with some food and they take you for a walk now and again, you know, but they basically you are a pet and you'll be told where to sit and where to go and what to do. That should be obvious to people by now. But these individuals don't really have any fear of us. Well, they do have fear of us to the extent that they know if we were awakened what we could do.
The greatest form of dictatorship is a dictatorship where the people think they are free, because they will not rebel against not being free when they think they are. You can talk about fascist dictatorships and communist dictatorships, but where you have a dictatorship that the people can see, touch and taste, where they understand the situation they're in, those kind of dictatorships have a finite life. It might take some time, but they have a finite life because the people know the situation and they can see who the controllers are. The greatest form of control is the prison without the bars, because people will sit there forever because they don't think they're in a prison cell.
The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years. Actually, it's overfulfilled, because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes his, then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization.
We are watching a movie to give us the impression that we have freedom, that we have choice, when there's one force behind the apparent different people in the movie.
This is what will happen in the United States if you allow all these schmucks to bring the country to crisis, to promise people all kind of goodies and the paradise on earth, to destabilize your economy, to eliminate the principle of free market competition, and to put a big brother government in Washington, D.C.
And that's the first step to freedom. The first step to freedom within this gathering Orwellian world is to realize that we are in a gathering Orwellian world. Because once that realization comes, then we start to see the bars. We're no longer sitting in a cell without bars thinking we're free. We can start to see the bars. Once you see the bars, you can start to think, well, what do I do about it? And then the next thing, that we want to be free, that we don't want to be sheep anymore, that we want to take our minds back, that we want to have our own opinions and our own views, and not those that are bombarded at us daily through education and through the media and all the other sources of so-called information.
Why would you feel motivated to not accept that man is his own savior? I'm very interested in that. I'm very interested in as to why you, not the cult, not the clan, not your guru, why you would, have a problem with that. What's in your psychology that has made you in the 20 years of your life, or the 25 years of life, or the 40 years of your life, not have enough brain cells to realize, my God, that's the bottom line? Because in my opinion, if you don't accept that, you are an unsane person. You're not insane, you're unsane.
And the key to mass control is the manipulation of the imagination of ourselves.
But just like they misjudged with me, they never considered the strength of the human spirit. They never considered what would happen when people cared about each other, when love entered the equation. And that has caused people to stand, and a lot more people are awake and aware, and it's making a profound difference.
And this is as relevant today as when these words were spoken by an anti-Nazi activist, pastor, who said this after the Second World War. First they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for me, and by then there was no one left to speak out for me.